Hello, Scorpios. Welcome to Souls Intersect. This is your annual 2017 Intuitive Tarot reading. So this spread breaks the year up into 4 quarters, starting at the top. So it's 2 cards for every quarter, and it goes clockwise. The card at the center is a general theme throughout the year. I'll start and most likely finish with that card, and I also may relate to it looking at the different quarters. It is a general reading, so it's general because it's targeting thousands of people, but also in terms of the year and the way it's broken down, that might not be exact. It could be that some of these things seep into other quarters of the year for you, or maybe only touch on 1 or 2 themes for you. But I've meditated and I've asked for important messages to come through for most people watching. So, all right. So the card at the center is the Ace of Cups, which is really beautiful. It is just on its own such a lovely card. It's a new beginning on an emotional level. It's this overflow and abundance of emotional energy. And it's also in your element, Scorpio. So it's that water element. And so this new beginning really speaks to you. So I do feel like in general 2017 is a new stage of your life, and that some seeds are being planted for some lovely things to come. Okay, so I will come back to it, but it could relate to just energies. It could be how you tune into your gifts, especially it being that water element, and it could be new love. It could even relate to new work. It's something that would fulfill you emotionally. All right, so the cards at the top are the Knight of Rods or Knight of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. So this is the first quarter of the year. It would be January, February, March. My sense is that the King of Rods is another person in your life, so I don't feel it's representing you here. I do feel like this is another person. And I feel like it's a person that you would like to make a home with. So there may be some of you considering moving in with someone, so someone that you're dating, someone that you've been with. Or it could be that this is something that you've fantasized about. Building a home with this person, achieving this sense of fulfillment. And the Pentacles is usually more on the material level, but it also often depicts a family, and in this case, a couple. And it feels like it's a couple that is making some sort of rite of passage, and I'm really sensing that for you. So it could even be some of you taking something to the next level in terms of a relationship. This Knight could be a fire sign. It doesn't have to be, though. My sense is that this is someone who gets things done and may even be the one to try to move things forward. So don't be surprised if you do have someone in your life that they may try to move things to the next level. Another interpretation I'm getting there is that this person may be defensive in a way about their home life. So it's not necessarily the opposite read on it, but it could just be that, because I do still feel like this person has strong feelings for you. I do feel like there is passion towards you, but that for whatever reason, they are being protective of either their home physically or maybe something related to their home. It could be a person. This is very specific, but I'm getting someone is a caretaker for someone, either elderly or possibly a child or someone with a disability, and they're kind of being protective about that area of their life. So again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you wouldn't be able to achieve that sense of completion or fulfillment, or if you are thinking of moving in with someone or building a home with someone, that you couldn't with this person. But it's just another read on this where I do feel like someone is being a little protective of it. So it might take some time for others of you to reach that stage. But there's really good energy for building in general, and if it is an established relationship, it does feel pretty solid. Okay, looking at the second quarter, 2 Wands cards. So we have the 8 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. My sense here is that there is a change happening or a transition taking place, and that it may be something that you feel conflicted about. So it's really nice, though, having these Wands cards with this fiery energy, because I don't sense strong conflict, and I don't sense like major disappointment or upset or anything like that. I just feel it's this energy of a change taking place that may be fairly sudden, but welcome. With that Ace of Cups, it feels like it's very warm and welcome. But maybe because of how swiftly it came in, it does cause a sense of confusion for you, catches you off guard a little bit, and especially if it's involving a transition or change that means moving somewhere or traveling somewhere, it feels like it might take you a minute to get all of your ducks in a row, and like there might be some conflict for you. Although it's a Wands card, it feels to me like it's more on the logistical level, or it could be related to the sense that I get is just kind of time management type of stuff. Like, again, it has to do with how fast the transition is and how it might catch you off guard. So getting organized, it seems like, might be a little bit of a challenge around whatever this is. So it could be in relation to any area of your life. It could be something with work, again, a move or a trip that's going to be important, or a shift in a relationship. So if you had been planning on moving in with someone, starting a home together, building a home together, it could be that it takes place in this second quarter, because that 8 of Wands can very much be about a move or a transition. So it just feels a little bit hectic, but other than that, not really anything negative. But because it is coming up as this major theme in the second quarter, so April, May, June, around that time, it's going to be a very important thing during that time. It could also be information that comes in, and it could be a message of love with that Ace of Cups playing off of it. If it is the case that it's a message of love coming through, it feels like it could be from someone from the past, or someone that you have enough of a connection to that you feel a little conflicted over it. I think especially because there may be this other person in your life. It could also be that it is the same person, and if they've been a little bit standoffish about letting you into every area of their life, that something does come through in that second quarter from them. So they open up more. And that's where that Ace of Cups really comes in. And it being right next to this 8 of Wands and interpreting it as a message, it feels like that could be a really big shift where they, through their words or through an action or message, open up more and do let you in more. But it does carry that 5 of Wands with it. So I feel like it's this sense of whatever it is that they maybe were holding back about, maybe not letting you into an area of their lives. Once they do communicate with you about it, it feels like there may be some back and forth about it, possibly some argument. Again, it doesn't feel very negative. It just feels like it gets a little bit hectic, maybe a little bit impassioned. And it may be even just as simple as like frustration over why they couldn't share with you before or something like that. But so maybe a little bit of chaos around it, but for the most part it feels like a really positive shift. In the third quarter, we have the Hierophant and the Three of Wands. So another Wands card. That's interesting. So this is the first major arcana. My sense is that in this third quarter of the year, something around a commitment is going to become highlighted or become important. And I do see there is this theme. It's carrying through here again, too, with this idea of maybe planning a new beginning with someone, probably a partner. And it really feels a lot like moving in with someone for a lot of you. So that's coming up very strongly. And it could also be in terms of a move, because that Eight of Wands in the second quarter could relate to that as well. And so in this third quarter, it feels like more planning could be going into that, whatever it is. But it seems like there's maybe, excuse me, that you make a request possibly for a deeper commitment. So if it's a shift that it has to do with maybe moving rather than just moving into a new house, maybe moving to a different city, I get the sense that you may feel the desire to request an engagement from this person, or at least a spoken commitment on a deeper level. Something that you feel will help to build a foundation, a stronger foundation. And because we have the Ace of Cups, I really feel like any request that you make will be taken well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, 100% of you, if you propose, for example, that the person will say yes. But I feel like with that Ace of Cups energy with you throughout the year, it's very positive and there's that warmth and comfort to it. So I feel like if you do make a request like that, it will be taken well. And at the very least, you'd be able to make a compromise. And the sense I'm getting is that the person may see this request as being kind of traditional or conservative maybe. But at the same time, they find it very heartwarming because it shows them how strongly you feel about them too. And the other thing that it could have to do with is something like, I'm picking something up about tenure maybe or something like that for someone. So more, it feels like if it's related to work, it seems like more demands being made. So you're being asked to do more. That's what I'm seeing. Like at a job, being asked to do more, expectations being higher, and because of that, you asking for more of a commitment. It's kind of similar to the relationship energy, but in this case, it's like a firmer contract. It could just be a raise, or it could be like trying to push through tenure or something like that, if that relates to your line of work, or something similar to that, maybe in a different line of work. You needing a firmer commitment, something more solidly established for you to accept going forward with more demands. And again, with the Ace of Cups, it feels like that could be met with really positive energy. Okay, and finally in the fourth quarter, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Nine of Cups. So the first sense is that a lot of the things that you have been working on throughout the year could just seem to fall into place in the fourth quarter. This could be in relation to some of the work stuff, some of the relationship stuff, maybe that commitment, maybe that home, moving in together, planning on all the plans that went into that, reaching completion, reaching that stage that you had been hoping for a while. And it's not necessarily that there were delays. I'm not really getting any delays. I just get a sense that it's something that had to develop in stages. Very strong energy in this reading for building into towards a new stage of a relationship. And it does, again, a lot of it feels like moving in together, maybe even getting engaged, that sort of thing for a lot of you. And if it does relate to work, it feels like a similar thing where in that fourth quarter, it's not that there was a lot of waiting, not that there was a lot of delays or impatience, but that things happened in stages again. And so there were requests and different requests were met. And then finally in the fourth quarter, the timing just seems right and things fall into place. And you do seem to get what you wished for, with that 9 of Cups being the wish card. So it does feel like a lot of positive energy and good fortune in that last quarter of the year. I feel like there is a bit of a warning with the fourth quarter. My sense is that it's almost a little bit of that be careful what you wish for, and that doesn't mean, I don't mean to imply anything like dangerous or anything like that. But it just feels like this sense of making sure you, have done everything that you plan to do before moving on to this next stage. Like if for some reason there's something that you just don't think you can do in a new stage that you could before that, try to do it. And I don't know exactly what that means, but for work, for example, it could be that if you get into this deeper commitment, you won't have as much vacation time or something like that. Make sure that you take that time and get that relaxation in, even though it might seem like there's a lot of impassioned energy and a lot of things building, because there's lots of wands in this reading. So I do sense that fiery sense, that quick sense, and all of that action really taking place. So that would be one example. That's not necessarily a direct message for someone, but the vacation example would be one of meeting that sort of be careful what you wish for kind of energy. And it could be something similar in regard to a relationship. It might even just be like if you're moving, it could be like where you live before you move. Maybe there's something around there that you meant to do, take advantage of in that area, something like that. To do that, to take advantage of it before things shift, because it does feel like it will be a change. And although it does feel like it will be a change and that it might happen kind of suddenly towards the end of the year, that there was time. So even though you felt busy and it was a little bit chaotic and hectic, there was time to kind of do some of these things maybe that you would want to do before. And so I sense that you try to take that into consideration, because I feel like that might be something you would regret later. And there's support to really fit in whatever it is that you need to. Okay, and again with this Ace of Cups, another message that I'm getting around that is being in your heart space. The cups being that water sign and being all about emotion, and you being a water sign. I feel like something that might help get through a lot of this, if it does feel like it gets hectic, is holding your energy in your heart space, trying not to let you trying to stay out of your head and overthinking and overanalyzing too much, but to be more in the space where you're following your heart. That seems like a really important message with this Ace of Cups. All right, if you have any messages about this or about my services, feel free to email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. And a Happy New Year to you. Thank you.